Hello my dear students, welcome back to another session of computer application class. In the previous class we were discussed about the initialization of variable in the Java programming and dynamic initialization, and we have started the types of variable also. Okay, so the last topic will be the local variable. So about the local variable we have explained how the local variable will be working, where we are declaring the local variable, how it will be working, and we already discussed. I hope you understood what I taught in the previous class. So today we are going to learn about the remaining types of variables. So what are the remaining types of variable? So already I have explained there are three type of variables will be there: local variable, instance variable, and a static variable. So local variable we already have explained. Okay, so let me explain the next types of variable is called as a instance variable. So instance variable means when we are writing a Java programming, or when we are declaring a class program inside the class, isn't it? Inside the class, what are the variables we are using in the entire class, accessing the entire class, that is called as a instance variable. So that means not inside the method or function. In the local variable always we can see, or always we are declaring inside the member function. That means if the user will be creating the member function, number of member functions or methods, both will be same, method or function. So what are the variables? It is only for those particular function, that is called as a local or local variable. Okay, so sometimes we are using the entire class, the common variable. For example, the previous example, the class A, integer A and B I have given, no? So that is int A and B. So this A and B we can access entire class. In the Java programming or the object-oriented programming, one program is having more than, may or may not be, is having more than one class will be there. Okay, so in one particular class, number of member functions we can use it, isn't it? So each class is having their own group of variables will be there. The speciality of those variable, that particular variable we can access only inside the class. Let me explain how it will be. So one example I will write it. The class A, then public, private, int A and B. So here public, one function I have given, void get function. Okay, this is a simple Java program. So this is not based on the Java, this is object oriented method only. We can convert it to the same concept to be blue Java concept. So okay, no problem. So here class A will be there. Okay, so here one private variable I have declared A, that is called as A and B. Okay, and public one member function also I have declared. Here one single variable also I declared. So inside the member function, what variable we have used, that is called as a local variable. Okay, so here what variable we have used in the private section, that is A and B. This A and B we can consider as the instance variable. Instance variable. So the speciality of the instance variable, the entire class, the same variable we can access. But this C we can access only inside the get function. So here get function we have closed it here. Okay, so in between the related get function, what are the executable statements will be there, that we are writing inside the get function. Okay, so this int C belongs to only this executable statement, and when the member function will be get closed, the accessing permission of the int C will be get stopped. Okay, but the A and B is not like that. When the class will be start, by the time the accessing permission will be get start. Okay, so this A and B, when it will be get closed, this class when it will be get closed, up to that time how many member functions inside the class, that is just a matter. Everywhere we can access this two variable. Okay, but the speciality will be this two variable only belongs to this class. So after this class, the one more class we have declared a class B. Okay, But this A and B we are unable to access inside the class B, because the accessing permission only inside class A. That means the inside the class some group of variable we are able to access the entire class. That is called as a instance variable. It will be private for the first class. Second class, one more class if you are declaring, they are having their own private variables will be there. So they can access their own, isn't it? So that is exactly like our school classrooms. Okay, so 9th standard and 10th standard classrooms are there. But this 9th standard students are able to access only 9th classroom, isn't it? So they cannot enter inside the 10th classrooms and they cannot attend the 10th standard class. And vice versa, 10th standard students unable to come inside the 9th standard class and they are unable to attend the 9th standard class. So that is called as a, so students, so what are the subjects and what are the subjects we are using in the different classes, that is called as a instance of variable, instant variable. Okay, so that is another type of variable what we are using in the Java programming. Once again, one particular class, what are the private variables we are using, that is called as an instance variable. That instance variable only belongs to the declared class. Outside of the class, this instance variable we are unable to access it. Okay, so that means access permission will be inside the declared class. So outside another class will be there, they are having their own group of instance variable will be there, they are able to access that variable, but outside of the class unable to access. So this kind of restriction will be there, but inside the class we are able to access. So how many member functions are there, that is doesn't matter. So some class is having 5 member functions we are using, or 10 member functions we are using. Each 10 member function is having their own local variables they are using, but the instance variable will be common for all the member function, isn't it? So this private section, what are the variables, user defined variables we are using, that is called as a instance variable. Okay students, so the next we can go for the static variable. The next group of variable is called as a static variable. Static variable. So static variable means it is belongs to the Java class. So after declaring the class, inside we are applying the main function. Whether are you able to remember? Just remember it, how the Java programming, Blue Java program we have done. The first we have given the inputting section, then public class, the class name we have mentioned. The next step will be public static void main. So what do you mean by static? So always the static variable will be statically it will be working. That means a single time execution. One time execution it will be. So remaining all the variable, whenever we need we can execute it, isn't it? So while executing it will be working and we will get the output. But static variable is not like that, it is just like a constant. The main function is a constant, we are unable to change it. Okay, so static void main function only we are telling. So static single, it will be passing only single information, single time execution, isn't it? Then the speciality of the static will be directly we cannot declare the static variable. Inside the main function also we are able to declare the variable will become a static, but you have to use the keyword is known as a static. Okay, so the normal variable declaration will be we are using int a. Okay, so this int a, if you wanted to convert, it will become a static variable. It's a simple process only, you have to use the static keyword, static int a. Static int a means the a is a type of variable integer, it will become a static. If it is a static means a little more powerful than the normal declaration, isn't it? So normal declaration means any variable, any value we can store it, and some more than one time we can access it. But static means once it will be executed, the next you have to close it and again you have to try to open. Okay, that means a one time execution they are providing, that is called as a static declaration of variable or static type of variable. So the more informations and all, the coming one chapter will be there only for the static declaration, static memory, static variable and all. So we will study more details about the static option in the particular chapter. Okay, so the next variable declaration. So static variables will be there, initialization of variable, instance initialization of variable, local initialization of variable. These three type of variables we have seen. The next, the major or most important initialization of a class will be called as constructors. The concept of constructors. Okay, so constructor means it belongs to the class only. So in the object oriented programming language, one of the most powerful part of the class is called as a constructor. So actually the constructor, what do you mean by construct? Construction means constructing a variable. Okay, so constructing a variable means we can in the computer programming language we are telling it's a constructing a variable. The meaning of constructing a variable is a initialization of variable inside the class. So many type of initialization we already have seen, but in the class variable directly we are unable to initialize it. With the help of some other concept we are able to access the or initialize the class variable. So the concept is called as a constructor. So two concepts we are using, constructor and destructor. The related class, these two words will be most important, isn't it? So while using the class, sometimes may or may not be we need to initialize the variable inside the class. Directly it is not possible. We are depending on the constructor. The speciality of the constructor is used to initialize the class variable. How it will be initializing else? So here I just given class A. Okay, so here I have declared a variable private int A and B. Okay, so usually how we can initialize the variable? While declaring the variable itself, we are applying the value. That means if we are declaring int A equal to 10. Okay, so this is normal initialization. So this kind of initialization will be not allowed in the class, isn't it? So that's why I said class unable to initialize directly, class variable. So we are using some other concept is called as a constructor. So here first of all you have to declare the variable. What are the variables you need to use in the programming? That variable you have to declare it. After declaration of variable, one constructor you have to create it. Through the constructor, you have to initialize the variable. How it will be? So always the speciality, another speciality will be always the constructor we are using. Constructor is having their own name will be there. That will be same as class name. Which class name you have given to the class, exact same name we are using as a constructor. That means when we are using the same name to the class and constructor and class is having some link, automatically it will be generate one link. Through the link we are able to initialize the class. Then after declaring the class, after giving the variable, you have to declare the class. So here should not give the class keyword directly. This A is the name of the class, or one other name we can give square. Our class name will be square. So the constructor we are creating square function. Then you have to open the bracket. So what variable we are given? A equal to 5, B equal to 6. Okay, then you have to close the class. So here you just observe the name of the class will be square, and inside the class I have declared two variables as a private A and B. But in this program I wanted to initialize the A and B. That means the one initial value I wanted to give to this given variable. So in the class is not allowed to initialize directly. So that we are depending on one another concept is called as a constructor. The constructor is used to initialize the class variable. So the name of the class and the constructor will be always similar. Okay. So if you are seeing same class name with the function, here class keyword we used and square name we have used. But here without a class, the same class name just like a function, if you are able to see, this we can consider as a constructor of the given class. Constructor of the given class. The class name, it will be repeating in the same, inside the same class, same function name. Say function name and class name will be equal. The function we are considering as a constructor. So the uses of constructor will be, what are the variables we have given inside the class, that variable will be initialized. That will be initialized by constructor, isn't it? So this is called as a constructor, and the constructor also is used to initializing. So because of that only, this concept also we have included in the initialization section. Local variable initialization, instance variable initialization, static variable initialization. Another most important object oriented programming, class variable initialization will be done by constructor. So constructor is a most powerful concept. It is a one particular topic. It's such a big topic only, but briefly I have explained that the next, that means the 10th standard, the constructor and destructor will be in depth they are giving. Here we need to explain the initialization, about the initialization, so that one brief explanation they have given. The more details we will get next year, because continuation will be there. Okay, so moreover we can tell the constructor, it is a concept, it is used to initialize the class variable. Why? Because class variable the user unable to initialize directly like other variable. Okay, so local variable initialization we are doing directly. We are declaring variable. While declaring variable itself, we are assuming a value, that is a variable initialization. But this kind of initialization is unable to do inside the class variable. So that they are depending on the concept is known as a constructor. Constructor will be allowed to initialize the class variable. So after initializing this class variable, we are able to access the entire class. What are the where we are using this variable? Everywhere we can access this variable to the program, or the value of this variable in entire programming. Okay, so this is called as a constructor of a program. The next concept will be opposite of constructor. Okay, so the speciality will be once if you construct should be destruct. Destruct means destroy, isn't it? Constructing means initializing a variable. After initializing a variable, that means after initialized, after uses of using, that means how much time we need to use. After that, the initialized variable should be, must and should be get destroyed. So that destroying or removing the initialization is directly not possible. So that the constructor will be providing another concept is known as a destructor. Destructor. So destructor means destroying the initialization. Okay. How the destructor will be? Nothing will be there, only small changes. With the same name of the class we are using to declare the constructor. The same class same class name we are using for destructor. So just you don't need to define any variable, but before giving the name you have to use this symbol. This symbol is known as a tilde symbol. From the keyboard we can see the tilde symbol. This just like a waving. So this symbol is represented by destruction. Destructor. Constructor means without using the symbol, the same name of a class, that is constructor. The same name of a class with the tilde symbol, that is called as a destructor. So once again, constructor is used to initialize the class variable. Why? Because class variable directly we are unable to initialize or directly unable to give the value. Okay, so that we are depending on the constructor. So after initializing the class variable, after uses of the class initialized variable, you should be destroy the initialization of variable. So that is also directly not possible. So that they have provided another concept is called as a destructor. So destructor is used to destroy the initialized variable. That means what values we have initialized in the relevant variable, that will be removed by destructor. The declaration of destructor will be same name of the class with the tilde symbol. Same name of the class without tilde symbol, it is constructor. With the tilde symbol, it is called as a destructor. So these are the initialization types of variables we can see in the inputting section of Java. Local variable declaration or local variable declaration and initialization, instance variable declaration and initialization, static variable declaration and initialization, class variable declaration and initialization, that is called as a constructor, and destroying initialization is called as a destructor. Okay students, I hope you understood today's class. A little difficult concept only because this is we are entered to the original Java programming concept. These all the concepts we are using to develop a Java. Isn't without any, what are the options we have completed, a topic we have covered. Each and every minute options we are using to developing a Java program. So that minute part also you have to understand and study it. Okay, so what is the use of this option, how it will be used, and that programming videos and all later I will send it, but theoretical part you just observe it. Okay students, I hope you understood. If you are having any doubt, you can contact me through the subject group and drop out the queries through the subject group. Thank you students, have a nice day.